Setting up your SMTP settings in ClickFunnels, it's not one of the most pleasant processes, but I'll make it simple for you guys. All right, so if you're wondering why do you even have to set up your email integration or SMTP settings in ClickFunnels, well, if you're doing any kind of email automation inside of ClickFunnels, so for example, if you are running a webinar, so I'll just show you real quick a webinar that I have in ClickFunnels, right? And then right here, you have the automation tab. And if you want these automation tab to be able to fire in and be able to send emails right inside of ClickFunnels, and this can apply to any kind of funnels. This can be a confirmation email sent when someone purchases one of your products. This can be a confirmation email when somebody's downloading one of your lead magnets. Anything that you can imagine, you need to have the SMTP settings set up in order for this to work. All right, so once you are in your ClickFunnels account, you have to click into your account settings. And then we have to scroll down where we have this email integration or SMTP part. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to add an email integration, and you'll see these two options. So for to be able to send email confirmations, email follow-ups, and all the rest, you're going to need both transactional and marketing. So you want to click on this one. I'm not going to click it right now because I'll go right into my active SMTP settings and you'll just be able to follow through that. But if you are starting this for the first time ever, you have to click on transactional and marketing. So let's go back into my own settings. So right here, once you add the actual transactional and marketing setup, you'll get to a page that looks exactly like this. So I'll have to blur, some information from these fields just for privacy reasons, but you'll have the same exact options that you see here on the screen. So before we start filling out the information that's needed here, one other thing that you need is you need a SendGrid account. And I know ClickFunnels recommends a couple different ones. However, I do recommend, go to SendGrid.com and sign up for an account. Let's actually see if we have, so SendGrid.com. So you get to this page and you got pricing, and I think they have a 7-day free trial or something like that. Oh no, so send 40 emails for 30 days, then 100 per day forever. And this is literally $0 per month. So you can choose this option, sign up, create an account with them. And then because you will need the login email and the login password to be able to set up your account, right? So the title here is just, it can be the title of your company, the title of, doesn't really matter, right? Nobody will see the title. What they will see is I'm talking about your email subscribers or your customers, from name. So the name, this is basically the name that people will receive all the confirmation emails, the email receipts, everything else that you will send from inside of ClickFunnels. So you make sure, you set up the name that you want to show up in there. Because if you have multiple businesses, the way that I have, so I have 3 different email follow-up accounts inside of ClickFunnels. So you don't want to send an email, let's assume you have 3 different businesses with 3 different industries. Obviously, you don't want to send the emails from the same name, right? So that's that. Keep that in mind. The email that you want to send the emails from essentially is the email that you'll receive all the replies. So when somebody gets an email receipt from you or an email follow-up, they can respond to that email, and that's the email that they'll get back to you. Now, when you get to this point where it says SMTP Server and SMTP Port, I'll actually put this exact text and the port itself to be able to just copy and paste it into your own account. So essentially it's smtp.sendgrid.net and then 587 as the port. And again, when you get to the user part and the SMTP password, it's crucial. So one thing that happened to me just about 2 days ago, I haven't really, because once you set up this part, most likely you're not going to touch it for a long time, right? Unless you want to change, I don't know exactly what can you change, but I never touched this. Like I set it up probably about a year and a half or 2 years ago, and I never touched it since. So, full disclaimer, I do have other email automation and email autoresponders that I'm integrating my funnels with. But for the ones that I showed you at the beginning of this video, I'm using the SMTP settings, the SendGrid account, right? So what happened was I increased the number of emails that were sending monthly. When I first got started, because it was only one funnel that was sending emails, I was not charged anything, right? So then with time, the number of emails increased, and the card that I had on file was canceled due to a fraud detection. So as you can imagine, the credit card got canceled. The email that I was getting from them was going into my spam folder. Therefore, I never clicked back. So then when I clicked into the account, I had to reset my password. So guess what? The SMTP user and password in here were not matching anymore, and I started to get those SMTP errors, and I was getting like a ton of them. So then I realized, like, okay, this is what's happening. So keep in mind the email that you log in into SendGrid and the password that you're setting up for your SendGrid account have to match inside of your SMTP integration. Otherwise, it will not work, period. Okay? So keep that in mind. SMTP Domain, that's SendGrid.net. So it's the same exact thing for every person watching this video. Now, when we get to the domain part, well, this is a whole nother training lesson, and I'll put it in the description below. However, I'll still walk you through right now on how, or at least the basic part of it, how you can use ClickFunnels to add multiple domains. So I'll just duplicate this tab, and I go into my account settings, and also I'll go down here where it says domains, right? So in order for you to be able to have a domain that you will add in here, what you have to do is you have to click this button that says add new domain. And then you have two options. Number one, you either purchase the domain through ClickFunnels. So if you want a super simple method, right, you probably end up paying $4 or $5 more than if you would just purchase it from GoDaddy. However, that's what I think I purchased twice straight from ClickFunnels just to keep everything, like smooth and fast. However, if you already purchased the domain and you have it in your GoDaddy account or Bluehost, it doesn't matter what software you use to purchase the domain, you will come right here where it says use an existing domain. And I would do, let's say, one domain that I own, platform domination, and I'm clicking right here where it says add domain. And this is the whole part that a lot of people kind of get confused with this. And below this video in the description, I'll put a full training on how to do this even more in depth than I'm doing right now. So see what it says. You'll have to go into the place where you bought your domain and add a CNAME record that points 3 W's at target.clickfunnels.com. So the way to do that is you go into your ClickFunnels, into your GoDaddy or Bluehost or whatever software you use to purchase your domain. You have to log in, obviously, and you go into your products section where you have all your domain purchased. So right here, I got platform domination. You have to click on DNS. And essentially, the steps are simple to follow. It's just that sometimes it takes a little longer for all these settings to kind of kick in. And a lot of people think that, because it's not happening like right away, it's just not working, right? So this is, and I know this may seem complicated, but trust me, like you can just follow through exactly what I'm doing and you'll be able to get it done. So see that it says you have to add a CNAME record that points 3 W's at target.clickfunnels.com. So I'm just copying this one, I come to GoDaddy and see that I already have a domain. I already have a CNAME that points www, but it doesn't point it anywhere. So I just click edit, and I just literally just paste this one in here and hit save. And usually you have to wait, I don't know, they say that you have to wait a couple good hours, but to be honest, this process kind of happens pretty quickly. When I say quickly, it's a matter of, sometimes it may take 5 minutes, sometimes it may take, 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour to an hour, but usually it happens pretty quickly, right? So I got this domain in here, and now I can say I've done this step. So you go back to ClickFunnels and say I've done this step, and they'll check now. Their servers, they'll try to hit your GoDaddy or your Bluehost or whatever you host your domain. They'll check and see. However, this process, right? It even says success. You have already set up platformdomination.com, right? And if you're wondering why have I done this, and of course, ClickFunnels will give you an error, but don't worry about it. Just give it probably another 5 or 10 minutes. Just hit refresh, and you should be good to go. Now, when it comes to checking that your domain is actually active, when you hit check now, sometimes it may say that it's not ready yet. Again, you have to give it a little bit of time. Like, think about it, right? Like, we're talking about servers, hitting all kinds of connections and all kinds of different things. So you may need to give it some time to be able to make sure that, all the settings are happening. And sometimes, like I say, it may say that it's not ready yet, or it may say that it's an error or something like that. And if you're wondering, by the way, why have I deleted the 3 W's at the beginning of this domain? Well, if somebody's asking me like, what's your website or what's your domain, like what's the funnel URL, how many times you actually say www dot whatever, right? You would just say, well, it's platformdomination.com, right? So keep that in mind when you set it up. If you want to always mention www, well, then do it that way. But if not, your funnel will not work, right? So it's something that even ClickFunnels support will struggle to explain. I tell like 100%. I've done this at minimum 20 to 30 domains just inside my ClickFunnels account. So when I'm saying that, don't put the www at the beginning of the domain unless you want to always mention that, right? So keep that in mind because it's important. And then in here, ClickFunnels will ask you like, what's the funnel that you want to associate your domain with? I'll just do one real quick, free consult, and I just say associate the funnel, and that's it, right? So let's go back to our SMTP integration process. So once you've done that, and by the way, I would advise you to do the domain integration even before you start your SMTP process. I just didn't want to assume that you guys know how to do it, so that's why I wanted to show you step by step. So assuming that you already have your domain integrated now, when you go here, you'll just have to click, and ClickFunnels will give you all the domains that they are already added to your account. Right? So let's do a quick recap. Title doesn't really matter. It's the title of your integration. So this doesn't show anywhere. It will show when, and I'll show you real quick, when you go back into your funnels, for example. So let me show you real quick where that integration actually shows, right? So we're talking about this title to make sure that you know where it's showing up in your funnels to not get confused. So I come right here into my Omnipresence webinar. And if you click settings, see what you have, SMTP configuration. Well, this is where your title shows up. It's just for you internally to know where is this title, what email integration you're using, right? Because like I said, if you have multiple domains, multiple businesses, multiple funnels, and you want to send emails from inside of ClickFunnels, well, you need to click which one is which, okay? So that's the only reason why you have this title. From name, again, it's your name. From email, the email that you want. SMTP server, it's smtp.sendgrid.net, 587 as SMTP port. SMTP user and SMTP password, well, these are the exact login and password that you use for SendGrid. And then you have the domain. So domain, we just did the integration. Just pause this video, go watch it a couple of times if you don't know how to do it. And then you have your address. And this is the address that's going to show up on the bottom of the emails that you're sending. So keep in mind, when you write this address, don't put your home address. I wouldn't advise you to put your home address in there. And that's pretty much what it is inside of this part. Now, right here on the bottom, what it says SMTP footer, I will give you this code. So below this video, you'll be able to just copy the entire SMTP code to be able to just paste it in your own account. And again, right, like you'll change the email that you have and then the email that you want people to email you back, your name, obviously, right? And then unsubscribe. Don't mess with this because this is like it's required to have it on the bottom of your emails in the footers. And then you hit save SMTP integration. Now, one thing that I want to point out, because it's one step that it's crucial for your emails to be sent, is this webhook, right? So when you add your SMTP integration, you will get an email right here. It's an automated URL. Don't mess with it. Don't change it. The only thing that you'll have to do is you'll have to click copy, or just select the whole thing and Command C on a Mac or Control C on a desktop. And then you hit copy this URL. Then we go into your SendGrid account. So once you're logged into your SendGrid account, you go down here where it says settings. You click, it's not account details, it's mail settings. And when you click mail settings, for you, this one will be disabled. So see what it says, event webhook? This is the event webhook right here. This is the link that ClickFunnels basically communicates with SendGrid, and it gives SendGrid the information that they need to be able to fire your emails, right? So it's super powerful URL. Don't mess around with it. Don't skip this step. Otherwise, your integration will not work. So copy this URL, go into SendGrid, go into settings, mail settings, and then you have to hit this little pencil here on the right and see what it says, HTTP post URL. You just paste the URL, and then once you paste it, see that you have a thing in here that says integration testing. So you can test your integration, and SendGrid will tell you a sample event notification will be sent to your endpoint shortly. Endpoint being your email that you mentioned in there. If you're wondering like what's the deliverability data, engagement data, and all that, I should have had these as well added in here. And very important, you have to have this event webhook status enabled. If it's not enabled, you just pull it to the right to be enabled. And if it doesn't work, once you do that, then you reach out to support. But before that, just do every single step that I've showed you in here. So make sure you fill out all this information in here. And then again, I'm giving you this code in here. And also copy this URL and follow the steps to paste that URL into your SendGrid account. All right, so let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions. I know this is not one of the most pleasant processes to set up in ClickFunnels, but it's crucial in order for you to be able to send emails within ClickFunnels. All right. And if you like this video, let me know in the comments, hit that like button, and don't go anywhere. You'll love the next one coming up right here on my right, where I give you basically a full playlist on how to do anything that you want inside of ClickFunnels. So everything from webinars, lead funnels, automation, everything that's inside of ClickFunnels, it's right here in this playlist coming up. So I'll see you there.